We'll begin in a minute. Thank you. I'm glad to see that many of you already have muted your phones to minimize the background noise. Get your pen and pencil and or typing ready because this is going to be a lot of information packed up today. We have a full agenda. And if you're new to this forum, this is the Chula Vista Collaborative Partners meeting on a monthly basis since the pandemic on a virtual platform. And we record these calls plus upload all the slides and flyers that are sent to us for distribution for this call. So at any given time, at 3 o'clock in the morning or whenever, you can access the materials and listen to the recording. And hopefully also, if you have access to the chat later on, you can connect with other attendees. I think that we're ready to begin. So I formally welcome you to our June 8th phone call. This is the last one for this school year. As you know, we are associated with the Chula Vista Elementary School District, and we will pause for the month of July. We will get back in August. So thank you for attending, and for those of you who just arrived, please feel free to type in your name, organization, and contact information for others to know more about your services and probably connect after the call. Next slide, please. Let's begin. So today we will go over some reflections about the reopening. We're very excited about the state and our partners making plans for this transition emerging from the pandemic. We are going to talk a little bit about some plans and some ideas and contributions, and really a reflection for our renewed plans and rising together. We're going to have some short announcements of current services, and also a lineup of actual presenters from our organizational partners. And then an open forum for you to bring up any other ideas or suggestions or comments for this collaborative. Again, we are not meeting in July, so enjoy the summer. And we will be coming back on August the 10th in virtual format still. We are planning a get together, kind of a meet and greet, to still have that personal connection and networking that occurs or used to occur when these meetings were in person prior to the pandemic. As I near my 1-year milestone here at the Chula Vista Community Collaborative, we are learning that the virtual forum is welcomed by the partners. You have provided that feedback in a survey we sent in April. So we heard you loud and clear. You do like the virtual format, and we plan to keep it that way, but still providing an opportunity to that meet and greet and exchange of business cards and connecting with the people behind the services. So we will welcome your offer, location-wise, donation for things to raffle, anything that you think that you can contribute to that informal meet and greet. So rather than very formal with presentations and that kind of structure, I do want to have that opportunity for purely networking as a meet and greet coming up in the office. Slide, please. Hopefully you can mute your phone before we continue. Next slide, please. Yes, and so, as you know, if you're new to this group, we are the Chula Vista Community Collaborative, and we envision a healthy community for Chula Vista residents, and not only us, but also beyond across the county of San Diego. And we do that with our family resource centers that are located in school grounds of the Chula Vista Elementary School and Sweetwater locations. Next slide, please. And yes, we're gonna be open during the summer, so tell that to all your families. These are our 5 locations, and we are still seeing our families. Oh, I think that there was a nervous moving back and forth, but okay, yeah. So let's stay there for a second. Kudos to Rebecca. I know that it's the first time that she's playing around with the slides. So it's a transition. We all are in transition, people. So we're here in person. We are here to serve the community via phone, by appointments. We have a closet also at the Rayo de Esperanza Family Resource Center. So by appointment, we can schedule a time for your families to come and collect some used or new items for the family members. Next slide, please. And yes, we have been able to support another organization that is a member of our steering committee, SBCS, formerly known as South Bay Community Services. And our staff have provided during the months of April and May over 500 hours of support services for their youth program at the San Diego Convention Center. We are glad to be of service, and with emerging needs, we are there. Next slide. And we are anticipating very much so our state reopening, as I have communicated with some of you already about your plans to come back to our family resource centers as an outstation, bringing one of your staff members to our facilities. We can provide that location and access to our clients. So if you're not, if you haven't been an organization that has done that before, I welcome you to think about that and contact me. We have the 5 locations, and we're renewing our memoranda of understanding with these organizations regarding access and providing direct contact and services to our clients. So some of you are already planning with us to come back, and others, I invite you to consider that as an option, because I really believe in the cross-sector partnerships, right? We have seen how across the board, we have had to be flexible. We're doing cross-training of duties and roles among our staff at CVCC. Is a reflection of what's going on out there, intermingling health and social services. We have seen that need, and we have seen that collaboration is becoming now the new norm. So we are not the new kids on the block on that respect. We want to assist and be part of this breaking silos and coming together to innovate and to create programs that really address the social determinants of health in our communities. And looking forward to recovery and rebuilding after this pandemic. Next slide, please. And taking this moment with you all to reflect on the community health needs and these opportunities that have come up, that have bubbled up because of the pandemic, and how our response have had to be coordinated, quick, and very sensitive to the emergent needs of our communities across the county. So I want to take a moment to ask you and put in the chat What partners or who in particular you want to thank or recognize for their partnership and support this past year in the kind of services that you're providing? So if you play with me on this, I want to really get the pulse about what organizations can be recognized. Do you wish to thank about their ongoing relationship you've had during this pandemic year? If you want to type that out or raise your hand in the platform and maybe mention it publicly and doing that recognition. Let me see, anything in the chat?
It says the chat is disabled.
Hi, Monica, are you speaking?
Yeah, I was trying to type it in the chat, but it told me it's disabled for some reason. But I think I would like to thank the community enrollers this year, and then also 211. Every family that I've talked to has been reaching out to 211 for different resources, whether it's like housing, their health services, food distribution. So I feel like they have done a lot for our families this year, and there's a lot of families who told me that was their first time ever calling 211. So I would like to recognize them.
Thank you, Monica. Recognizing 211. Is anybody else wanting to write down on the chat? Let's just verify that it's still a function that's available for us. Here.
Hi. I just want to
Yes.
thank all the health centers out there that supported with all the vaccinations, the COVID testing, CVS, all those people who helped support, make sure the community was healthy during COVID. I really appreciate them. Thank you for supporting us getting back on track. Just thank you. And all you collaborative members out there that really took public health to another level during the pandemic. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Someone else?
Good morning, Brendaly. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you, this school districts throughout San Diego County. I think they had the greatest challenges with, this last year with education, supporting kids and youth with all the pandemic and all these issues that we're going through. But thank you, school districts. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, administrators.
Thank you. Someone else?
Yes, Teresa Valenzuela here with San Diego Futures Foundation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to thank local initiatives support Corporation List San Diego, who's putting money back into City Heights area in a big way, and that will come into fruition this next year. So thank you so much. Thank all of you, actually, everybody that's even here on this call. I mean, all of us for just showing up and doing the work, right? Behind the scenes, at the desk, by ourselves, and just keep pushing. Ándale pues.
Thank you. Someone else? I see a lot of activity in the chat. So there's a long list of programs and organizations that are being recognized. San Diego Hunger Coalition, San Diego Foundation. We have, we support you. Let me see. We have more. We have the living associations, and of course the FRCs. Thank you. Alpha Project, Father Joe's. Let me see who else. Of course, 211, 211, Feeding San Diego, San Diego Food Bank, Jacob Center, Family Health Centers of San Diego. San Isidro Health, of course, Operation Apollo Artemis, and the school districts, Metro Community Ministries. Great. Yes, I really think that taking this moment to reflect and really recognize the collaboration and our partners is part of this transition, right? Moving forward, because it has been undeniable difficult year for not only the individuals that we work with, the families, and our own communities in general. But I also am curious about a new practice or solution that you experienced in your work, and maybe why we should consider it to becoming part of the lasting change and a new normal. In our case, we were able, with a lot of pain and investment, moving into more of a virtual environment and still providing the services to our families. And along the way, our staff got retrained. Our staff is taking on board this virtual interface software, trying to make it interactive, trying also to do technical assistance, even on the one-on-one level, to with family members, and how to maximize the use of their smartphones and to participate in this virtual delivery of. So that's for us one of the big practices that have been used in the last year, that it will be integrated as part of our day-to-day moving forward. So with that example, I want to motivate others to tell us about their new practices, their solutions during this year that maybe, yeah, you're considering to stick with them being part of the new normal. Let me see, something is in the chat. Promotor community health work, the frontline heroes. Yes, yes, yes. More new practices or solutions from your. It's good to share ideas.
Brendaly,
Lessons learned. Yes.
Elizabeth Jackson, kind of along the same lines as you, the virtual aspect, being able to, like, I can go to all the collaborative meetings now instead of driving from North County to South Bay to East County. You know what I mean? So there's like more opportunity to network with other partners. So I think that should continue. Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. We plan to complement that with local meet and greets, but definitely we will keep the virtual environment. Other practices?
I know for me, it might sound ironic because I'm in the tech industry, but what happened for me, because I'm working from home, I had to really mind my. I'm sorry, I've got somebody else on the line. Excuse me.
Thank you for that sharing. So next slide, please. Thank you. So at this, we're taking, and I tell my staff, this is an opportunity to renew our practices and to renew our commitment to health improvement, and including the working with the cross-sector partners. So it's not only, the way we used to do it before the pandemic. It's really looking at it outside the box and seeing what works and what will continue to work, and being open to look at things in a different way. And yes, it involves work and some trial and error and ironing some wrinkles, but I think that we will be stronger coming out of this. Next slide, please. And all these hopefully with the ultimate goal to rise together, strengthening our collaborations, and really thinking more of this as a call for action to continue aligning of our strategies and tactics and ways to collaborate. And of course, that requires investment. And we have seen a lot of funding sources coming towards COVID. And now moving into this new phase, we will see how that it's maintained or changes according to emergent public health situations. Next slide. So some updates from our partners before we go to our lineup of speakers. I want to share with you that the Institute of Public Strategies is hiring. They have 3 positions available, and that's the email address for you to send if interested. The slides, the links are active, and you can go immediately to those position descriptions. We're all here at CVCC with some shuffling of staff. David, for example, is moving into our FRC manager position as our current manager, and Angela Tomlinson Luna is moving towards the Santee Collaborative. So we're proud of her and her transition. And also here, as I mentioned earlier, Rebecca from the community referral specialist position is really going to support our collaborative throughout function. So we are in this transition, and I know that many of you are hiring and readjusting, restructuring your staff for incoming needs. Anybody from Institute of Public Strategies to make a comment about these openings?
Hi, Brendaly. It's Brittany Hunsinger. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so we really, we thought this would be a good opportunity to really announce our prevention specialist and community youth organizer for the South Bay. So if anybody is interested, I'll also put my info in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. But I feel like our website and the position descriptions do a really great job of describing the work that we do, but any program specific, I'd be happy to answer. The community youth organizer would be on my team, so feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. And yes, COVID is not gone, even though that we are getting into a great position being vaccinated in one of the lowest, the 2 lowest states in the nation with the COVID infections. COVID is still out there, and there is a treatment, and it's available here in San Diego through the family health centers. Anybody from that organization here to tell us more quickly?
Yes, I'm here to talk about it. My name is Michael McClure. I'm with Family Health Centers, and I'm here to promote our new MAP treatment that we're offering to the community. This treatment is used for people who test positive with COVID in their first 10 days. The treatment is life-saving. What we want to do is encourage people who test positive to get this treatment. It is an infused treatment for people who are ages 12 and up. It actually keeps them out of the hospital by suppressing the symptoms of COVID. So we definitely want to encourage people to actually get this treatment. It is definitely a treatment that is unused out in the community because people just don't know about it. But when people have those breathing problems, the fevers and things like this treatment actually has the potential to cure those symptoms within 24 hours. So we definitely want to encourage the community to go out there and access this care. A lot of times, when people test positive for COVID, we normally tell them, go home and quarantine for 10 days. Well, this treatment now is available where they just don't have to go home with those symptoms. They can actually receive this treatment and feel much better, much quicker. The recovery time is great. We actually have a really comprehensive system that actually where we watch them for a couple of hours before we let them go home, and we give them a sense of care after. So we definitely want to encourage people to reach out and say, hey, this treatment is available for COVID now. We came a long way and the fight is almost over, but we still got to take care of those who need this treatment. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Next slide. Another update, and this is close to my heart, is regarding hearing loss. And I found through LinkedIn this graphic that kind of shows that invisible load of hearing loss and really how draining it is to be dealing and managing your hearing loss as it progresses, with or without assistive listening devices. So I want to open an invitation, especially for those who are Spanish speakers, to join in a webinar to learn more about the California Relay Service. And I don't know if Marta Hernandez is here with us today. She can just briefly tell us about this upcoming webinar on June 22nd. And if she's not here, there is the link for you to register. It's for free, and you get to know more about this free service that every single one of us that has a phone account pays for, because that is part of those fees that you never can get rid of. That's what that was paid for, the California Relay Service. Next slide, please. Another tool that we were able to use here at the collaborative and made it available to our staff was the mental health first aid training. And they do have it in English, they have it in Spanish. This is the schedule coming up in virtual sessions and also in person already. And the events are listed in the website. You can register for the Mental Health First Aid Program of San Diego. Anybody from this program here today? Once you download the slides, you can go to the live link and register. Next slide, please. And from SANDAG, this is an opportunity to provide feedback to their regional plan for transportation. They're going to have some open houses, virtual, and you can see in front of you the dates for the area that is going to be covered. For those of us in the South County, it's going to be June the 22nd. All of the open houses will be from 6 to 8 p.m. and will be virtual. You can register, take a look at the calendar, and there are a lot of materials for educating ourselves and our communities about this regional plan. They have materials not only in English, but they have them in Spanish as well. And the recorded presentations are also available in other languages like Arabic, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Farsi. And I want to check with David and Rebecca to see if we can play the 1 minute and 29 seconds video. That is the shorter version of the presentations that they have and all the materials that they have available with a toolkit for communities. Hopefully the audio as well will be activated and we can get to know more.
21, SANDAG is developing a regional plan that makes San Diego's transportation system faster, fairer, and cleaner. Unlike previous regional plans, which focused on updating existing projects and strategies, the 2021 regional plan transforms the vision for our transportation system through 5 interreliant strategies, known as the 5 Big Moves. So why is SANDAG developing a new transformational system, and how did we get here? In 2018, SANDAG had thousands of conversations with people from across the San Diego region to discuss their transportation priorities. We didn't know it then, but these conversations laid the foundation for a bold new vision for transportation in our region. A Around the same time, the state set new standards for reducing transportation-related greenhouse gas emissions to help combat climate change. With this in mind, the leadership at SANDAG reimagined our approach to the regional plan. The community has always been at the heart of the regional plan. From events and workshops in 2018, 2019, and 2020, to webinars and virtual engagement during the COVID-19 pandemic. San Diegans have been involved every step of the way, and there are many ways to stay engaged in 2021. SANDAG is excited about where our region is headed. Stay up to date with the 2021 regional plan. Visit sdforward.com to learn more.
Thank you for that. And they do have a longer presentation online that can prepare your community to provide input. They are planning for some feedback sessions and public comments, so stay tuned. Well, I see that we're back to the slides. You can go to the next one. Let me check on the chat. There has been more communication amongst you. And actually, Manuel included a public opinion survey about housing and cigarette marijuana smoking. He provided the links as well and in Spanish. So check that out. The link will be live in the chat box. So you are welcome to come back to it afterwards. And let me see, coming back. So now that we have finished with those quick updates from partners, let's have the lineup of speakers. And our first set is Deidre and Cynthia talking to us about school tools for schools, a searchable database that we kind of previewed on last call, but now we're going to learn more about it. And Rebecca can put that up. Let's see, is Deidre here?
Yes, I am here.
Excellent. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much. I am Deirdre Kleske with the County of San Diego's Chronic Disease and Health Equity Unit and part of the Live Well Schools team. I'm joined today by Cynthia Burboa, also from the Live Well Schools team, and she just graduated last month from the Master of Public Health program at San Diego State University. We're here to provide a short overview of a new online resource for those working with students in schools, after-school programs, and community-based organizations and their families. So just a little background, Live Well Schools, an initiative of Live Well San Diego, is led by Pam Smith, reporting to Nick Macchione, the director of the county's Health and Human Services Agency. In addition to leadership roles in HHSA, Pam was a school board member for Chula Vista Elementary School District for 20 years. The Live Well School strategy is to listen to and engage district-level decision makers, such as superintendents and school board members, and provide them with tools and data analysis to make the case for increased investments in student and staff wellness to increase health equity and academic success. Live Well Schools also partners with the San Diego County Office of Education to host the annual Summit on Student Engagement and Attendance, to further demonstrate the connection between equitable school wellness and academic success. In 2015, Live Well Schools created the first Tools for Schools toolkit to provide information and resources to school stakeholders. Copies of Tools for Schools was delivered to every school in the county. 2 years later, in 2017, the Tools for Schools toolkit was updated to include a section on behavioral health services, with many more resources on social, emotional, and mental health. Live Well Schools received feedback that district and school staff wanted an online searchable version of Tools for Schools. In response, we developed a website with 2 goals in mind: to make it easy to find resources to meet the immediate needs of students, staff, and families, and to provide information and data analysis to support long-term planning for healthy schools. The Tools for Schools database includes more than 250 resources, searchable by topic and region, and this database continues to grow. Cynthia will now do a short walkthrough of this new resource, highlighting sections that may be of particular interest. I'll turn it over to Cynthia.
Thank you, Deidre. I'll go ahead and share my screen now. Alrighty, can everyone see this? So, hi again. Thank you so much.
There it is.
Thank you. So thank you for allowing us to join your meeting today. We're super excited to show you our new Tools for Schools website, which showcases our new searchable resource database. I'll start by just showing you the top of the page, which will help you navigate to different areas of the website. First, you'll see our home button, our Tools for Schools resource button, which will take you directly to the database. Our focus areas, which feature health equity, wellness policies, social and emotional wellness, childhood obesity, and chronic absenteeism. And also our strategies, which we use to execute our mission, which include policy, partnerships, programs, and local control and accountability plans. So here is our homepage, which talks more about our mission and vision. There are going to be many clickable links throughout the website, which will take you to different places in the website or outside of the website. For example, on the left here, we have our Tools for Schools Toolkit flyer, which will open in another browser for you to look through. And on the right, we have a link to our Tools for Schools searchable database, which will take you directly to the database within our website as well. So right here below, we have our 3 key areas that I mentioned before. On the left, we talk more about our partnerships for healthy schools, which will give more data and information on the 3 focus areas and how they're connected to academic success and wellness. Our partnership with SDCOE has been vital to our work with schools, so it's featured here on our homepage. We have collaborated with them to put on the school summit at the virtual Live Well Advanced last fall. And as we know, partnerships are key to making meaningful change and improvements in school wellness because we all have a role to play. So next, I'm going to show you the health equity page. Scroll to the top. All right, so health equity is a very important aspect of our mission and framework because children's health behaviors are very heavily influenced by their environment, especially at school. On our health equity page, we show you the connection between a student's environment, their health, and their academic success. So right here is a graphic that compares the difference between equality, equity, and justice. We also focus quite a lot on ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences. They're strongly associated with increased health and social risks. So schools can heavily help address these health inequities by implementing a trauma-informed approach through these 5 steps, which are listed here. And for more information about how faculty and staff can actually implement these trauma-informed approaches in school, we have included several resources here, which will take you directly to the page or link. And I'm going to switch over to the partnership. Alrighty. So these buttons here are going to show more about our key partners, and each button will show you a 1-page PDF that gives you more information about the role that each partner plays in improving student health and wellness. And again, you'll see more about our partnership with SDCOE. And right below, you'll see more about our partnership with the Live Well Youth Sector, which is actually a new addition to Live Well San Diego. And also some information about our intergenerational programs. On the left are actually some photos from the intergenerational games that were made possible by our partnership with Chula Vista Elementary School District. All right, and I want to show you the childhood obesity page now, which actually has a special feature. So on this page, you'll see some childhood obesity prevalence statistics, which will be listed here. Oops, sorry. Okay. And then you'll also learn more here about the negative effects of childhood obesity and how it affects academic performance, students' mental health, and also how it financially impacts schools. All right, so here we also, here's the special feature. We featured Chula Vista Elementary School District and how they have been able to successfully decrease the percentage of students in the obese category by using data to implement programs and initiatives that work to combat childhood obesity. Chula Vista has also been successful in using the results from the online WellSat scoring tool to improve the strength and comprehensiveness of their wellness policies. So finally, I will show you our searchable database. So here's the searchable resource database, which kind of serves as a one-stop shop for hundreds of resources that are relevant for schools and school-based partners. You can view up to 100 resources per page. If you click over here, you can change it to 10, 25, 50, or 100 per page. As I mentioned, it is searchable. So you can enter any keywords such as nutrition, and all the relevant resources will pop up here. It searches by the word in the link, the description, and the topic. We also can try different words such as physical activity, and it will bring up any relevant resources here. And partner, and you'll get more information about our partnerships and resources here. The links are actually clickable, so it will take you directly to the link as well.
Cynthia, there's just a bit of a lag. So if you just kind of give it a couple of seconds, and then people will be able to see what you just were talking about. Yeah, with just the physical activity, things are just coming up, and then the partnerships. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you, here, let me try. So when I type in partner, do you see those ones? It says ACES connection.
Yeah, those are up now. Yeah, those are up now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So basically that was just an example that you can type in different keywords to bring up the resources that you're directly looking for. So now I'll go ahead and hand it over to Deidre for some closing remarks and any questions you guys have.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, we are constantly working on this resource database because we know there are so many great programs out there that we may not have on our database yet. So I will put the link to the website in the chat, and I'll also put my email address. So if you look on the database and you don't find your organization or a good resource that you know about, we are more than happy to get that information and check it out to add. We are hoping that this is helpful not only to schools and school districts, but also to the community-based organizations that provide so much support to children and their families. And now, if you have any questions, let us know. And thank you for the time.
Thank you, Deidre and Cynthia. I really think that this is a useful tool, especially when proposal time comes in and you don't have, as a small community-based organization, the time or the energy or the expertise to dig out data to do that. So that having access to this toolbox really helps in line streaming your activities to get your proposal right on time and using the actual data and the latest information out there. So we thank you for that work. Questions from attendees for Deidre or Cynthia? And I'm glad that you were able to write in your contact information. And again, this presentation is recorded so others can take a closer look at this at their leisure and download the materials. So great, night on time, 9:42. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome to join us at other times as well. And for going back to the slides, I think that we have Elizabeth Jackson from the Bridge Project. And this is a resource that can help you know more about disability services. We're glad to have Elizabeth here with us today, and take it away.
Thank you so much, Brendaly. Thank you for the time. I am Elizabeth Jackson. I represent A Better Life Together, and we have the Bridge Project. And if you would be so kind, in the chat box, I just put a link for a quick survey, if you don't mind doing that real quick. It's just a few questions as we get started here. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about us, A Better Life Together. We're a community-based organization, and we believe that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities have the right to services and support to live their best, most independent life possible based on their choices. Next slide, please. I'll stay on this slide for just a couple minutes. The Bridge Project actually stands for Bridging Resources into Diverse Groups Everywhere. And I wish I could take credit for that acronym, but that was my predecessor. So thank her very much for that. What it is it's a grant awarded by the Department of Developmental Services for us to determine where the disparity in access to services is as far as those in the community that have intellectual and developmental disabilities. So our goals are to educate not only the community at large, but our community partners, so that you have the tools and the knowledge to help the people you see every day. And we're available to help with that, to connect people to the regional center, to get them in touch with their service coordinators, and we'll go into more about that, but kind of explain the regional center system. It's overwhelming, it's large, it's complicated. So we're just here to kind of help guide, and then navigating the system, how it really works. And then the Letterman Developmental Disabilities Act, we're just going to have a splash of information about that. That's the underlying California law that the regional centers in California have to abide by. So that ensures everyone's rights are respected and people get the services they need. Next slide, please. So the Letterman Act, we don't have to call it the Letterman Developmental Disabilities Act. That's too much. So Letterman Act. And like I said, it is the law that oversees the California Regional Center system. And the regional center would be the starting point. If you have an intellectual or developmental disability or someone in your family, the regional center is your starting point. Next slide, please. The Letterman Act is actually what your rights are. If you or a family member have intellectual or developmental disabilities, you have rights just like everyone else, of course, because we're all human. And then how the regional center and service providers can help you, what types of services and supports you can get, and then how to use the individual program plan to get those services that you need. And we'll go into that individualized program plan just in a moment. That's an IPP, so acronym city. And then what do you do when somebody says you can't get what you need? And then how can you make the system better? Next slide, please. Okay, so the regional center. When I began with A Better Life Together, I didn't have any idea what a regional center was. It sounds like an administrative building, regional, maybe San Diego County. Well, it's a focal point for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities to have their services and supports coordinated. So you're not all on your own. You have a support system as far as the regional center to help you get those services. And it's state funded. These are the Letterman Act is the California law. And then the San Diego Regional Center is one of 21 centers in the state of California. And the regional center here in San Diego covers not just San Diego County, but Imperial County. So the last chunk of California, which is all you all know is a huge area. Next slide, please. So what do the regional centers do? Anyone that has an intellectual or developmental disability, anyone suspected of having an intellectual or developmental disability, or anyone at risk of giving birth to a child with an intellectual or developmental disabilities. And I just put, you know, Individuals with Disability Education Act, and I'll show you how to get more information. You could always contact me because I've read through all the law. It's not fun reading. So I'm here for that as well. Next slide, please. So who's eligible? Anyone that has an intellectual or developmental disability that was diagnosed, or excuse me, that originated before age 18. So it had to have started before a person reached adulthood. And a developmental disability is defined as a severe and chronic disability that is attributable to a mental or physical impairment. Some examples are intellectual disability, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, and autism spectrum, also Down syndrome. And then again, when I started, I didn't know a whole lot, so I dug deep. Other conditions similar to intellectual disability. Well, what does that mean? So I looked further and found that it's conditions that constitute a substantial disability in 3 or more of the following areas. That made more sense to me, like mobility, self-care, economic self-sufficiency. So that gave me a better idea of what that means. Next slide, please. Like I said, who's eligible for services? Anyone in San Diego or Imperial County, and that's for the San Diego Regional Center. And then the eligibility is going to be determined by the Regional Center based on documents. And those could be school-related, medical, psychological, and that documentation gets sent to the Regional Center, and they only take copies. So that's good to know. They won't take the originals, and they can help you make copies, or you can send them electronically now, thankfully. And the application process, they have up to 120 days to determine eligibility once they receive the intake application. So in order to help minimize that wait time, we at the Bridge Project specialists help get those documents in order, put them in order, make sure that they have everything, you know, is the IEP there, is the doctor's notes there, psychologist, all that good stuff. And that helps bring down that waiting time, because you don't need services in 120 days. You need them as soon as possible. Next slide, please. So the Regional Center, the application process, they call it the intake process, intake services. So first, learning the language of the Regional Center is very helpful. And we found that parents, family, and individuals, that it helps them more than anything, really. So the intake part of the process is evaluation and assessment. Like we talked about those documents, but the Regional Center can also do their own assessments. But remember, they only have that 120-day window to do assessments, evaluation, and determine eligibility. And it's helpful to check in and call in, and we can help with that too, with their, permission. And then assessment, case management, and service coordination. So, and then there's just a little byline there about a parent or legal guardian or a conservator if somebody's a conserved adult, which means that they have limited conservatorship. It's usually a family member or parent of someone that's over 18, and that helps them make their decisions. Next slide, please. I know I'm kind of running through this fast, but I'm here. So even after the meeting or what have you. So the regional centers provide all kinds of services, but the main part of their services are development of the individual program plan. And that if you take away anything, this is what I want you to take away. Individual program plan, IPP for short, sets up the person's goals, what they want to achieve. So if I'm the person with, let's say I'm on the autism spectrum, and I'm in high school, I'm in the transition phase, so I'm 18 to 22. I want to go on to college. So that goal will be in my IPP. And then all the support and services that I receive come from that goal. And I want that to make sense, because a lot of people, a lot of families we've talked to, they had no idea that that's how it worked. That you and your team, so that would be me, maybe my family, my best friend, a teacher at school, my doctor, whoever I want to be in that meeting will help me get my point across. Number one, that yeah, I want to go to school. I don't want to go and make crochet Afghans or something. I want to go to school. So then the regional center determines, okay, well then these services, this is what you need. And the regional center service coordinator and their team, the regional center team, will help say, okay, well, we can get you transportation from home to school, and get into the details there. But it's all based on the IPP. And then coordination of services from the service coordinator. So you have your meeting and they say, okay, you would benefit from occupational therapy, maybe some independent living skills, whatever it is. And then they help you make that happen. But then you get to the purchase of services to meet IPP objectives. That's a fancy way of saying that the regional center will pay for services only after you've exhausted all other sources. So you've exhausted the school system. The school system will give me a certain number of hours of physical therapy, but I need more. If the school won't provide it, I have to get in writing that they cannot provide more than whatever hours of physical therapy. Then I take that to the regional center and say, okay, the school has denied that, I need it. Then they might pay for it, but they'll want to check with your insurance, see if they'll provide it. If you have Medi-Cal, will they provide it? So you have to run down the whole gamut. That's another thing. So it's all intertwined with the IPP and then other sources of funding. And you have to push, as you probably all know, and know what questions to ask. And that's how we help a little bit of that navigation. And then the advocacy for the protection of legal, civil, and service rights. That is key also. What if somebody tells you can't get what you need? What do you do then? And right now, the Disability Rights California, they have an office on each regional center to help with that. It's the Office of Clients' Rights Advocacy to help those make sure their rights aren't trampled on. And then the regional center also does resource development to make sure, and program evaluation to make sure their services are up to snuff, and then community outreach and training and public information. Next slide, please.
3-minute warning.
Okay, thank you. I needed that. Okay, so some of the services, I'm gonna not skip it, but those are just examples. So next slide, please. Okay, self-determination, also called person-centered thinking. It's in the Letterman Act. It's a law. Everything that happens about me is with me. Nobody can have a meeting without me. Next slide. I'm going to whip through, but I'm here to answer questions or later on. Person-centered culture of care, self-determination. See, that's me in the middle. If I'm the individual with supports, All these other people are there to help me make my choices happen, not the other way around. Don't put me in a service box. I want to go to school. So you're going to help me go to school, whatever that takes. And you're going to give me all the information so that I can make my decision on whatever I want to do. And so that just kind of lists who can help you with that. And everybody should be there to help you. Next slide. And then the Letterman Act, we'll kind of just touch on that. I got you the takeaways about the IEP, and then San Diego Regional Center is the funder of last resort. Okay, next slide. We can help. So I'll have all my information in the chat. Call me, text me, email me. Next slide just shows the different regional center offices. There's one in every part of San Diego County and then one over in Imperial County. Next slide. And then I have some links and we can make that available. Next slide. Questions. Woo!
You made it.
And then I'm also going to put a little post survey, if you guys would be so kind as to put. Oh, I got a feedback there. Okay, there we go. And then if anybody has quick questions, I don't know how much time we have for questions, if any.
Go ahead. Any questions or comments regarding the centers and the bridge project? Yes, I see Miramontes.
Yes. My question is if someone as a child wasn't diagnosed or didn't get help, can she go now as an adult and start the services to get services?
Yes, the door is not closed. This was a gem I found out. So let's say the person has never been diagnosed. I think that's the question, you know, and now they're 23 or whatever. Are they
26, I think?
Yes. And what I recommend is work with that family, get as much documentation as you can, because the regional center will want to see something from a doctor, a licensed physician that says, so-and-so has such and such disability and they have had it since childhood.
See, that's the challenge because she doesn't have anything because the parents denied everything. They didn't accept it. So she never got any help or diagnosis or anything.
Right. So she can go to a doctor now, like Family Resource Center or whatever is comfortable. And that the doctors should be able to tell whether that person has a disability that originated in childhood. A family historian, if the parents aren't involved, maybe a friend that has known the person for a very long time, that is helpful as well. I know that's not always available.
Well, her mom passed away last year, but her dad is there. So it's something that can get the parent involved. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I really want to give the opportunity for you and Elizabeth to connect after the call for more details. Remember that these calls are recorded and information is personal and protected.
Yeah, no names.
Yes, I want to have that conversation of the recording, but thank you for those questions. And I particularly like the patient-centered approach of your model. I am an advocate for patient-centeredness, and I do a lot of work with the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute in DC as it relates to finding ways, treatments, and comparative effectiveness assessment of medications, treatments, and interventions. So I really like that patient-centered model that brings the patient to the center with that individualized plan. Thank you for that, Elizabeth.
Thank you. And thank you all for your time and patience.
Any other general questions for Elizabeth? And the contact information is in the chat. You can always reach out to her for more detailed discussion on cases that you're helping with. So thank you for that. Now we have the ECS Head Start with Nelly Gonzalez. Nelly, are you here today?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'll be I have what, 10 minutes or 15?
15 minutes.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at my watch here too. So hopefully this is not a new name to some of you. And if it is, then I hope that I inform you as to what we do in south of San Diego. I work for Episcopal Community Services, and specifically the program of Head Start. ECS, for short, actually has other programs in the community. Some further north, we have Accord, which is a DUI program. We have Uptown Safe Haven, which is a homeless, a program for individuals who are homeless and might have some mental health issues as well. And then we also have Para las Familias, which is actually down here in San Isidro, which is services for families and for parents and their young children. And so we have other services, but I'm going to be talking about Head Start, and we're actually a delegate of Neighborhood House Association, which is a bit up north as well. Okay, next. And so my role in Head Start is I'm the family engagement specialist, but I get to know a little bit about everything. So that's a really nice part. So we are a program that we serve pregnant women. We serve children from 0 to 5 years old. We do have a curriculum for our program. So our little kiddos can either receive services at home. Right now, because of the pandemic, they're mostly at home, they're in distance learning. We were able to open a few classrooms, a few preschool classrooms for those kids that were going to kinder, so they would at least get some type of classroom experience before heading off to kinder next school year. So starting up next school year, we're hoping to open up a lot more in-person services, classrooms, but of course, we're still gonna continue offering distance learning, and a lot of services will probably be still online. But our goal for Head Start is to increase readiness for kindergarten, specifically aimed at families of lower income. And we've actually been in the business, Head Start has been in the business for 56 years. It is a federally funded program. So it started out 56 years ago nationwide. And here for us, we have over 2,000 children that we can enroll each year. So that's our funded enrollment. Okay, next. Right now, because of everything, we're like at halfway, but starting next year. And that's what we're reaching out, is because we do need some support from you all and reaching those families, getting them to apply to the program, even if they're not sure if they're going to qualify, that we would still want them to apply. We do place a big focus on parents. That's what makes our program a little bit special is that we don't just focus on the child's education, we focus on the parent-child connection, and we want to foster that, and we want to provide services and connections to parents. So when I come to these meetings, they're really helpful because I learn about all the resources that are out in the community, and I share those. We share those with all the families in our program. Okay, next. And that's kind of our motto right there, is parents are their child's first teacher, first and most important teacher. So this is just showing you our different program options. I'm gonna go into all of them a little bit, but you'll notice on the map, it just shows the different locations that we have throughout South San Diego. So we have Imperial Beach, San Isidro, Chula Vista, Paradise Hills, and National City. These are where we have preschool sites, little classrooms. Okay, next. So the prenatal services, that's actually like a home visit model. So they visit the parents, the mom. Right now, it's like I said, it's virtual visits. So they have those conversations about where they are at with their pregnancy. They support with any connection to resources that might be out there for them. So I know we've connected with some partners here so that parents in our program can get other services with them or vice versa. And even after they have the baby, they they talk to them postpartum, and then the baby can also be enrolled into our program so that the services continue to take place, and now with the focus on the child as well, and supporting the baby's development. Next. So for the little ones, we I think I put the slides backwards, but once the babies are here with the program and they get the home-based program option, which I'll talk about later. Once they get a bit older, they do have the option to be part of the family childcare, which is basically someone that has their home set up to do childcare, and they partner with us so that we're providing some of the instructional curriculum, and we're supporting their how they have their environment set up. So we do collaborate with them, and we have teachers working with providers, and we do have several sites. And those, like I said, they're also going to be reopening. They were closed, but we're hoping they'll be reopening, of course, with all the health and safety measures. So this is one type of service that we offer. So this is 6.5 hours, a bit longer of a program. Okay, next. And this is a home-based program, which I was talking about, which is going to be virtual for now, distance learning. And they follow a curriculum called Parents as Teachers. So they really work with finding material around the house that they can use to create learning opportunities. We do focus on trying to create socializations whenever possible, so that kids get to see other kids. And anything, and it's very individualized basically, because the parents are getting this individual attention from a teacher and planning for activities for their child as well. Next. Then we do have our center-based programs, which are specific locations. We have the room set up like very cute little classrooms with a lot of learning toys. They have their routines. So by the time our kids reach kindergarten, they are very prepared. We have received feedback from kindergarten teachers saying, oh, we can really identify a Head Start kid because they follow routine real well. They're ready. So our center-based programs have the creative curriculum. We do work with the San Diego Quality Preschool Initiative as well. So our teachers are getting coaching from us, and they're getting some support from San Diego Quality Preschool Initiative as well. We focus on school readiness goals, so we're always focused on those goals for agency-wide. We do provide us screenings, so we do work with the regional center as well. We have a disability specialist who focuses on any kids that might have any concerns from a young age, and they are sent to regional center. And we also have the RDP 2015, which is an educational tool. So it keeps track of children's school readiness as well. There's parent-teacher conferences, there's home visits. So we do actually a lot of work for the education part for 3 and 4-year-olds. Okay. And we do keep track of different things. Okay, next. This is just to show real quick that we also ask for immunizations and different type of health services. So these are different areas that we focus on. Nutrition, we offer meals, and we ask them to go to the dentist and get physical and all that good stuff. Next. So here's a little video I want to show of our services that we were offering, which is basically more the food distribution. I believe this is a video for food distribution. I think there's a song to it, but yeah, we can't hear this one, but it's fine. We were able to hand out diapers as well to our families.
We'll check with Rebecca and David about the audio, but yeah, you're doing a great job.
It's just a song. So we were following all the sanitation, health standards. You know, our staff were wearing their face shields, their face masks, gloves. Parents were staying in the cars. We were able to hand them hand sanitizers and face masks as well. We got some donated from the Chicano Federation, and we were able to hand those out to parents. The families got learning kits to take home. So a lot of the stuff, if we wanted to give items to parents, this would be a perfect opportunity for us to share with them any resources that we have. So that's our Montgomery site. Earlier you saw Castle Park site. That's some Montgomery site. And so just like you see our staff wearing the all that protective stuff, that's all still taking place at the centers. Once we come back to school, there's gonna be, the classrooms are gonna be basically certain staff that are assigned are the only ones that there can be no people coming in and out basically, because we really want to keep it as, you know, little contact between people as possible, so that it's always the same group of kids, it's always the same group of staff. It had a song, what's it, I don't know the name. It's a beautiful morning. That's why I like that.
Sound effects, I love it. I know it, Nelly. So yeah, well, sorry about that. We'll check from our technical part what went wrong there for the next one. But thank you for the narration and to post.
Yes. So just real quick, I want to finish up. We do once we open up. We had our Family Engagement Center on 3rd and Quintard, but we closed it. So now we have a new office, and basically we have a room set up on the back at the Family Engagement Center, where we have had partners do groups like parenting classes from there. We've had them do presentations about their services there, and families are really receptive to that because they know our center. So they go there and they get to hear from partners or services. I know SBCS has done work with our families there from that center. So we are always open to distributing information from our Family Engagement Center. It's coming up. You see the next picture. We are still, it's new, so we're still setting it up, and it's going to be on F and 3rd. But we can always distribute flyers from there. And hopefully in the future, if anyone is interested, we can have you and do either a virtual presentation from there or hybrid or in person. If you go to the next slide. And Para las Familias will be meeting with families there as well. So that's what it looks like. And that's the room in the back. It's not too big, but it's nice and it's all set up for virtual. Next. And I just want to share, was there that one? It can't show. The picture did not. So we are coming up with really new flyers. We're trying to put out a lot of new things. So you might see them around. They're gonna have a barcode, a QR code, the QR code. So it's easier for families to just take a picture and it'll take them straight to our website. So if anyone, if you could go to the last slide, I have my contact information there. So if you want to receive flyers if you're able to have flyers out somewhere in your agency, we would be really grateful for that. Especially we accept, like I said, families of low income, foster kinship families, any families who are experiencing homelessness or have SSI or TANF. Those are kind of our top families that are more likely to qualify. So if you serve those families and they have little ones, 0 to 5 or pregnant women, we would love it if you could help us in promoting, putting out the word that we're there. And we also have some face masks that we want to give you, hand sanitizer with our logo on it. So just send me an email, call me or text me and let me know, and I will provide you with flyers and the hand sanitizer face mask. And I can drop them off at any location that you let me know. Thank you.
Ellie, I'm sure that in the chat, some individuals that are interested in those services or items can leave their information so you can later retrieve that.
Thank you.
And also with your contact information, further questions or connections with referrals, that would be direct. So thank you for your time today, Nelly. And I wanted to welcome our last speaker for our today's lineup, and it's Valerie Hash from the Connect to Success. And I know that you have a lot of services, but we're gonna focus on some programs today. I welcome attendees to ask questions to Valerie or request more information via the chat as we are closing our call for today after Valerie. So take it away, Valerie.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Does everybody hear me okay? Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I did place my information in the chat. My name is Valerie Hash, and I'm a program manager for MAC Project. We're serving our youth with this particular program, Connect to Success. As some of you may or may not know, MAC does a lot of work in our community, and I'm sure I can come back at another time to show you all of the wonderful things we do as we partner with many of you. But today I'm going to focus on Connect to Success. Next slide. So Connect to Success is a youth workforce program, and this program focuses on 18 to 24-year-olds. So those who have just finished high school, they're finishing high school now, or were finished over the summer, or they've been disengaged in education for a little while. I know that for a lot of us after high school, we may have jumped right into work and may not have the opportunity to go straight into college. I don't like saying that these are students that are not college bound, because for most of our students, they do end up going to college. But we're talking about students that need to get out into the workforce. They need to provide for themselves. They may need to provide for their families. And this is an opportunity to get education that will get them the training they need in order to get gainful employment within 1 year's time. So finding a way to get them the training they need within 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, so that they can get employed right away. Now, a lot of our students who do complete the program and get employed, they don't necessarily stop there. A lot of them do go on to the community college and even the four-year university, but this is that next step. I know for myself, I did not go to college right after high school. I was a little lost, didn't know what I was doing, needed some guidance, and I wish I had a program like this to really help me focus. I did end up going to community college. I did end up going to the university, and I did end up becoming a teacher, but I took a different path. So this is something for those students who have meandered a little bit and need a different path to success. So Connect to Success is an open enrollment right now. We are recruiting for our summer cohort, 18 to 24-year-olds who are looking to work in gainful employment. And gainful employment means $16 per hour or more, full-time with benefits. Next slide. So what C2S offers is extensive case management. We have personal coaching and guidance for our participants. We offer them the assistance in applying for post-secondary school. So looking at low cost and no cost opportunities. For those opportunities that do have a cost, we provide assistance with that. We provide an education training account that students can pull from in order to pay fees, in order to pay services, in order to pay for tuitions, supplies, books, things that they may need in order to be successful. So what we do is provide that case management. We also connect our students to employers. We have a network of employers within our pathways that are willing and ready to hire our students as soon as they are certified and connected. We support them with the supplies they need, the clothing they might need, any supportive services they might need. If our students are hungry, we're going to find them food. If our students need housing, we're going to connect them with 211 and connect them with all the other resources that we have. So it's really helping those students 18 to 24 who may be a little disconnected from gainful employment or disconnected from education, and really helping them to get the support they need and become self-sufficient. Next slide. So the great thing about this is that it helps our students who are still in high school as well as those who are out of school. So we do work with those that are still in high school, but we prefer if they have just graduated or have already graduated, so that we can help them explore those post-secondary opportunities. What kinds of certificates are available out there? That personal support, that coaching really helps our students to understand what they need in order to be successful. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So I kind of call this an Adulting 101 program. It's all those things that you needed to know when you were booted out into the real world and may not have been taught in school or may not have been taught at home. So financial literacy, time management, workforce preparedness, job readiness, resume writing, how to navigate supportive services, because that's a huge challenge. Even as adults, we have trouble navigating all of the services and how to connect with all of the different programs and opportunities we have. So our Connect to Success coach and our program manager, our case manager, all help to make sure that our students have what they need. And then of course, the job placement assistance. We always ensure that we assist our students getting gainful employment in those specific areas. Next slide. So we help students with gainful employment, like I said, $16 plus per hour. And it's really helping them gain, a larger amount of money to help them look at what those next steps are. So looking at opportunities that have more job security. Some of our students who had recently graduated high school started the program and then left because they found opportunities at Amazon working in their warehouse, made decent money. Most of those students have returned because the work is not engaging, it's not exciting, it's physical, they're not happy with their hours. They had a taste of reality, a taste of the real world, and now they're ready to look at their options. So even those students who have gotten out there, who have had a taste of the real world, had a little shakeup, this is a great opportunity to look at what options are out there, what education you can get so that you can have a better job and get paid very well without that physical activity, without that mundane work. Next slide. So what I like to think about is going from good to great. If I am a high school graduate, I'm probably going to get a fast food job, retail, something like that. And I'm probably not going to be full-time. A lot of my students complain that they can't get enough hours to actually pay for the things they need. So you're probably working part-time. You'll make around $15,000 a year going this route. Now, if you become part of our program and go into, say, the CNA program, you'll make $16 an hour or more. Actually, a lot of them are hiring at 18, and they're also offering sign-on bonuses right now. So we'll just be conservative and say 16 per hour working full-time. And say you're doing that for an entire year, that means you're going to make $30,000 annually. So that's $17,000 more just by postponing that work in fast food or just working part-time and going to school, getting that certification, working with us, and getting that employment. And it happens fairly quickly. We try to get this going within 1 year's time. So post-secondary education is between 4, 6, 9 months. Then we go into employment and we follow them through their probation period. Next slide. Here's another way of looking at it. If a student starts working right away, they'll make that $14,000, $13,000 a year. Next slide. If they postpone working and start even later, say start in June or July, because they went through our program, if they started now, they'd probably start in January as far as getting to work, they would still, even though they've not worked for half of the year, would still gain more money annually. So it's another way of looking at it. For our students who are working more and are kind of weary of going into post-secondary because they think they're going to lose money, this is another way to help them understand that postponing that work for a little bit so that you can get better educated and get better certified will offer you more money in the end. Next slide. So helping them understand the scenarios, helping them understand how much they make hourly. So really that extensive case management, that financial literacy is a big part of what we offer in our program. Next slide. So what do students need to be successful in this particular program? They should want to engage in post-secondary training. So we help them find the right provider that is low or no cost in order to find that certification within the correct amount of time. They should have completed their diploma or are working toward their diploma. If they have completed their diploma, they should work with us immediately. If they're finishing their diploma, I'm getting close. If they're finishing their diploma, we can also help them complete that through our charter school or through the school that they're already with. They will attend their post-secondary classes, and we also offer biweekly coaching, and we also offer multiple opportunities for workshops during the week, during the month. That way students have multiple opportunities to engage with us and learn from all those Adulting 101 workshops and courses. Next slide. So like I said, we do offer multiple workshops. Some workshops are an hour, some are 2 hours. We do let the students choose what they want to work on, what their goals are. We do a lot of SMART goals, a lot of analysis of careers, things like that. And we also partner with many, many other organizations to provide some of this. Next slide. So some of the different pathways that our students go into, lots of healthcare students. We have lots of certified nursing assistants, medical assistants, pharmacy techs, and dental assistants. I also have a few students going through the EMT program. In trades, we have a lot of students looking at plumbing, electrical. HVAC is very popular right now. Lots of opportunity, lots of jobs, and fairly quick as far as getting through that certification. So HVAC has done well, auto tech as well. Computer sciences, we do have students going into IT. So looking at desktop publishing, looking at computer repair, things like that. So they can join like the Geek Squad. A lot of these students will end up going into more education, but this is that opportunity to get their foot in the door and get started. Other services like child development, culinary, security, finance are all part of our pathways. We do work with our students to find the right pathway for them, as well as look at what is gainful employment and what has the jobs. I like to tell my students, it's nice to look at, some of these great opportunities that you would like, but are there jobs and are they going to pay you? So we're definitely looking at where the opportunities lie. Next slide. So as far as those who would like to join with us, first thing they do is participate in an information session so they can get all the information that they need about the program. They complete an application, they attend an interview, and then we go through a 3-day career assessment workshop. So over 3 separate days, we work with our students to find out what those pathways are, what the assessments tell us about their interests, their skills, their goals. That way we can find the right place for them. Next slide. Finally, those who would like more information or would like to have us present to their groups or have students that they would like to share with us, please feel free to reach out to us directly. I am Valerie Hash, your program manager. I also have a case manager working with me as well, Pedro Estrada. And he would be able to assist as well. I know a lot of us here work with younger students. That's okay, because a lot of those parents have older children, they have nieces, they have nephews, and this is something that is open to all of our youth, 18 to 24 in the South County. Any questions, comments, concerns? I did place my information in the chat, and of course the slide deck will be shared with the final presentation.
Fantastic, Valerie. I wanted to invite
Thank you.
anybody that has a question for Valerie right now. That sounds like a very exciting program, and it has several components that will really are fundamental in the growth and in the mentorship and that pathway to success.
And the financial support, we help pay for those classes. So for some of our students who are like, I want to go take this program, but I don't know how to pay for it, I'm barely making ends meet, that's where we come in. We can help with those supports. I just bought a whole bunch of knives and pastry accessories for one of my culinary students, and he's so excited. I can't wait for him to make me a cupcake.
Fantastic. Thank you. And also for sharing your story about your personal story and your personal pathway as well. That's inspiring. And yes, we're closing the call today. I saw that we kind of covered a wide variety of the life cycle phases, from Head Start, with disabilities, adulthood, young adulthood. And we want to let you know and remind you that we have our blog, that we do post stories of interest, either from a specific program or updates. Like in our case, we are presenting a farewell to, I mentioned earlier, Angela, moving on, and also more information about the Latinos and the COVID-19 vaccine, as we are part of national initiatives, and other Latinos that are sharing their stories about how they approach the vaccination with themselves and their family members, and they're told their stories in different ways. So you're welcome to browse through our blog. And on an ongoing basis, we have the postings of the of the partners, and also updates on our promotore programs that now, with the state reopening, we'll get back on it. And Rebecca, if you bring back our slides, I want to close with a next slide. With a reminder that we don't have a call in July. Our next call is in August. I still have a few slots for the speakers lineup, and also already taking a request for the September 14th call. We're planning to have that in-person partners mixer, but there is in August of September. Please contact me directly for opportunities to have a role in that mixer. Again, it's informal, no big presentations. It's really to have an opportunity for the physical, the one-on-one, and networking in a more collegiate and friendly way, with in a specific location, central. And yes, in person, finally, to support this virtual communications on a monthly basis we have through the collaborative. So I think I have a last slide. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Send us your comments and suggestions at the email address there, or personally to me at brendali.rodriguez@cvesd.org. And see you in August. Have a wonderful summer, everybody. Thank you.